Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. How are you feeling today? I hope you are always doing great. So in this podcast, I would like to tell you about my honest and critical review after I read a novel. But before I start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Aziza Rohima. I am a student in one of university in Indonesia. If you know it, it's Sriwijaya University. Nice to have you today to listen to my podcast. Without any further ado, let's start to talk about the novel that I have read. The title of the novel is 13 Reasons Why. It is written by J. Asher, the genre is young adult, and this book was published on 18 October 2007. And then it is first adapted to movie series in Netflix on 2017. It consists of 4 seasons with 49 episodes in total. So if you think that the title sounds familiar, yes it is. Because if you got Netflix on your phone, so I bet you have seen this title once at least. This novel tells you the 13 reasons why Hannah Baker decided to suicide. And all the 13 over here, it relates to the people around her. And the 13 people are included in the list of people that will be mentioned in the tape recording made by Hannah Baker and will be shared after her death. And in this novel, Clay Johnson as the key character who take roles as the narrator that will lead us to listen what is included in the tape recording, start from the first one until the 13th. And here are some of the list of people in the tape recording. The first one is Justin Foley. Justin Foley was her ex-boyfriend. He also spread bad rumors about her. As the result, she got bullied at her new school. But again, she was still a strong girl. She still believed that even though she doesn't have any close friend, but she still can go to school like usual. And by the time at the first year, she got new friends, Alex and Jessica. But again, at the end, they betrayed her. And Alex used her to get revenge to Jessica. Because at the back, behind Hannah, they got relation. They are a couple, but because Jessica got jealous of Hannah, they broke up. Jessica got mad to Hannah, and Alex also used Hannah as the revenge. Alex is the reason why Hannah Baker got sexual harassment again at her school. This is so heartbreaking because Hannah already felt betrayed by her first love, and again he betrayed by her friends. When we are new to a new place, we need to adapt, but we don't have anyone that is friendly to us, so it will lead us to depression. And again, after this, there are more characters that bring heartbroken to Hannah, which led her to decide to take her own life. This is so sad because Hannah, until the end, she thinks that she is alone. She doesn't have anyone that is beside her. But Clay Johnson, as the narrator of the story that bring us to every cassette tape recording, actually Clay didn't do any really much bad thing to her. And even Clay Johnson is the one that was really important to Hannah. And I think that's all for the brief explanation about the story. Oh yes, but I forgot a little bit about the ending. At the end, after Clay Johnson listens start from the first until the 13th, he shared the tape recording to the next person, and he met a girl who was his first love, and the story continued by Clay Johnson close to her again. So I think that's all. Let's move to the next section. I believe this novel certainly worth to be read. I recommend you to read this, but I have two conditions that you need to fulfill if you want it. First, at least you need to be over 15 years old. Some events in this novel is not suitable for those who are under 15. I'm not talking about the mature and intimate scene. It is just so emotional. So I think you need to have the stable emotion. And second, still it talks about the emotion. At least you are not in a situation when you are feeling down, or you need to be in a good mood. Why? Because just for the safety of your mental, because your emotion will be shaken when you read this. And then here is my critical review. This book, I think, overall has been written well. The writer also successfully pushed me as the reader to follow the flow of the story. And I think I were like a fish that kept following the stream. This is so emotional. Each story in each chapter was so heartbreaking, and it takes all of my breaths from my lungs. Sometimes it surprised me to know the reasons why what happened to Hannah Baker's life that make her decided to take her own life. But I think the culture of teenage life over there and here in Indonesia is much more different. But at some problems, some points that is being mentioned in the story, like the bad rumors people like to spread to make others' reputations bad, and also the sexual harassments, another problem that makes another people mental health damage. It's similar. It also happens here. And my emotion, I do scream and get angry for at some parts of it when I read. The way a writer introduced the character of Clay and Hannah, it's a little bit confusing. And at some point, until I finished read this one, I still think about who is the main character. Because as we know, the story tells us about the reasons why Hannah Baker decided to take her life, decided to suicide, and at the end, of course, Hannah Baker already passed away. If we say that, oh, Hannah is the main character, I'm not really sure about that. Because at the end, the story still continue, even though the ending it's not really clear. I think the ending it tells about how Clay Jensen continue her life, continue to spread the tapes to the next people on the list, and Clay Jensen also close to his first love. So I think the main or the key character over here is Clay Jensen, because the way a writer brings the story, he make Clay Jensen as the narrator of the story. So that's all for my critical review. Now let's move to the next one. Here are some moral values that I could take. And I think if you try to read it, you can get more. So the first one is, do not take your own life. People that do bad things to you, they will continue their life. Then why you want to take yours? You deserve to live. And the way I kept reading the novel, I realized that in the end, after the death of Hannah, there are many mysteries that will show up. Like how Clay Jensen felt about Hannah. So it's so heartbreaking when if Hannah Baker in the story didn't decide to take her own life, I think Clay Jensen always help her and they will have a happy life. And the next moral value is about the communication. Yes, I get over here that communication is the most important thing in the world. You need to talk to your parents, you need to talk to your friends or to any people around you. Because I conclude after I read, if the main reasons why Hannah Baker decided to suicide is because she is afraid to tell other people about what she felt. She only think that she stand alone. She doesn't have anyone that can be her home. And the third moral values is do not ever trust and spread bad rumors. If you're the one that trusts or you are the one that spread the bad rumors, nothing good will come to you. You just make your own sin. And next, the moral values is when you are new in some place, like what Hannah Baker felt, having friends in new place for us is the most wanted and the first thing that we want, of course. But please don't be so naive. Please don't be so friendly to other people. Sometimes you need to be suspicious. Sometimes you need to be careful about the people that are new to you. And then the moral values number 5 is if you have fake friends around you, cut them from your life. They don't deserve you. And don't ever keep rubbish because you are not a trash bin. So that's all the moral values, and that's the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening in. I'm so sorry if I have many mistakes, and you are free to say whatever you want to comment about my podcast today in the comment section. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a nice day, everyone.